3 days before my bridal shower, I found the first crack in my perfect life. It wasn't dramatic, just a notification that flashed across Connor's phone while he was in the shower. But that single message would unravel everything I thought I knew about love, family, and trust. I'm Krista, and until that moment, I was living what I thought was every girl's dream. Perfect fiancé, dream wedding in the works, and a close-knit family that seemed to support every decision I made. Well, except for my sister Alice. But that's what sisters do, right? They push your buttons and challenge your choices. Have you decided on the final seating arrangement? Mom asked, spreading out papers across my kitchen counter. We need to get these to the printer by tomorrow. I nodded, trying to focus on the task at hand rather than the knot forming in my stomach. Almost done, just trying to figure out where to put Alice's +1. Oh, she's not bringing anyone, Mom said, not looking up from her lists. She told me yesterday. That was odd. Just last week, Alice had insisted on bringing a date. I filed that detail away, adding it to the growing list of things that didn't quite add up lately. Babe, have you seen my blue tie? Connor called from upstairs. The one with the subtle pattern. Check the dry cleaning bag, I shouted back, then turned to Mom. He's got 3 identical blue ties, but apparently only one of them is the one. Mom laughed, but her eyes held something else. Concern, pity. Before I could analyze it further, my phone buzzed with a text from Skylar, my best friend and maid of honor. Everything set for the shower, she asked. Almost, just finishing up some details with Mom. You're still coming over tonight to help with the favor boxes, right? Wouldn't miss it. Plus, I have some gossip you need to hear. Connor came downstairs, perfectly groomed in his business casual attire. He kissed my cheek, grabbed his keys, and headed for the door. Meeting might run late tonight, don't wait up. Another late meeting, Mom asked after he left, her tone carefully neutral. The merger's keeping everyone busy, I explained. But even as I said it, something felt off. The merger had been his excuse for the past 3 months. That's when his phone buzzed on the counter. He'd forgotten it. The preview notification caught my eye before the screen went dark. Can't wait to see you tonight. Same place? The sender's name was hidden, but my heart started racing. I picked up the phone, finger hovering over the home button. One swipe, and I could know the truth. But did I want to? Everything okay, honey? Mom asked, touching my arm. I set the phone down. Fine. Just thinking about all the last-minute details. But I wasn't fine. That text joined the growing pile of oddities. Alice's suddenly canceled +1, Connor's late meetings, the way he'd been guarding his phone lately, and how my sister seemed to disappear at the same times he did. The doorbell rang, making me jump. It was Skylar, early for our crafting session. You look like you've seen a ghost, she said, studying my face as she entered. I glanced at Mom, who was gathering her things to leave. I think something's wrong. After Mom left, I showed Skylar the text. Her face darkened. Have you noticed anything else weird lately? I told her everything. The coincidences, the late meetings, Alice's strange behavior. Saying it all out loud made the pattern impossible to ignore. We need to find out what's going on, Skylar declared, pulling out her laptop. Remember when you installed that Find My Phone app on his phone last month when he lost it at the gym? I nodded slowly, realization dawning. Well, she said, typing away, let's see where these late meetings really are. The map loaded, showing Connor's location. He wasn't at his office downtown. Instead, the blue dot pulsed steadily at an address I recognized. My sister's apartment building. Maybe he's just, I started, but couldn't finish the sentence. The perfect illusion was cracking. And through those cracks, an ugly truth was beginning to emerge. Skylar squeezed my hand. Whatever's going on, we'll figure it out. But Krista, I think you need to prepare yourself for the possibility that your perfect wedding might not be so perfect after all. I stared at the blue dot on the screen, my engagement ring suddenly feeling heavy on my finger. In 3 days, I was supposed to celebrate my upcoming marriage with all my friends and family. Instead, I was about to uncover a betrayal that would change everything. "We should follow him," Skylar said the next evening, gripping her steering wheel. We were parked outside Connor's office, watching as he left the building. "You need proof, not just suspicions." My hands trembled as I clutched my phone, watching the tracking app. "This feels wrong." "You know what's wrong?" "Whatever he's doing behind your back." Skylar pulled out slowly, maintaining a safe distance from Connor's car. "Besides, if we're wrong, we'll laugh about this at your wedding." But we weren't wrong. Instead of heading home, Connor drove to a small Italian restaurant across town. Through the window, I could see him getting a table, checking his watch repeatedly. "Maybe it really is a business meeting," I whispered, more to convince myself than Skylar. Then Alice walked in. My sister was dressed to kill in a red dress I'd never seen before. She spotted Connor immediately, and the smile they shared made my stomach turn. When they hugged, it lasted far too long to be innocent. "I'm going to be sick," I muttered, turning away from the window. Skylar grabbed my hand. "We need more evidence. Photos, texts, something concrete. You know they'll both deny everything otherwise." She was right. I'd confronted Connor about his late nights yesterday, and he'd looked me straight in the eye while lying about work stress. The memory made my blood boil. "Let's go back to your place," Skylar suggested. "We can figure out our next move." Back at home, we pieced together a timeline. Alice's sudden breakup with her boyfriend 3 months ago, Connor's increasing number of late meetings, the way they both disappeared during our family dinner last Sunday. "Check his email," Skylar said, pointing to Connor's laptop on the coffee table. "He never logs out." I hesitated. "That's definitely crossing a line." "He crossed the line first," Skylar reminded me. "Besides, don't you want to know the truth before your bridal shower tomorrow?" The email inbox looked normal at first. Work correspondence, wedding vendor communications, spam. But in a folder labeled Project X, I found hundreds of messages between Connor and Alice, dating back 4 months. "I can't stop thinking about last night," one read. "Miss you already," said another. "We need to tell her soon," Alice had written just yesterday. My phone buzzed, a text from Mom. "Everything okay? You missed our final shower planning call." I couldn't respond. How could I tell her that her daughter's relationship was about to implode? "Look at this," Skylar said, pointing to an email thread. "They've been meeting at the Riverside Hotel every Tuesday and Thursday." The same hotel where Connor had proposed to me. My phone buzzed again. "Connor this time. Working late again. Don't wait up. Love you. I need air," I gasped, heading for the balcony. Skylar followed, bringing 2 glasses of wine. We sat in silence until headlights illuminated the driveway. It was nearly midnight, earlier than Connor's usual late nights. I heard him fumbling with his keys. "Stay here," I whispered to Skylar. "I want to hear what excuse he gives tonight." I walked inside just as Connor entered. His collar was slightly askew, and he smelled of unfamiliar perfume. "Hey babe," he said, kissing my cheek. "Sorry I'm late, the merger." "How's Alice?" I interrupted. He froze for a split second, barely noticeable if I hadn't been looking for it. "What do you mean?" "The merger meeting, at Giovanni's, with my sister." Color drained from his face. "Krista, I can explain." "Save it." My voice was surprisingly steady. "I saw you both. I read the emails. I know everything." He reached for me but I stepped back. "We never meant for this to happen. It just did. We were going to tell you after the shower." A laugh escaped me, harsh and bitter. "How considerate of you to wait until after I'd celebrated my upcoming marriage with all our friends and family." "I'm so sorry," he started. But his phone chose that moment to buzz. Alice's name flashed on the screen. The timing was almost comical. "You should get that," I said. "Wouldn't want to keep my sister waiting." I walked back to the balcony, closing the door on his protests. Skylar wrapped me in a tight hug as I finally let the tears fall. "What do you want to do?" she asked softly. Through my tears, I watched Connor pacing in the living room, phone to his ear. My sister's voice was probably on the other end, both of them scrambling to contain their secret. "I want them to pay," I whispered. "And I know exactly how to do it." The morning of my bridal shower arrived, with a flurry of text messages from Alice. "Can we talk? Please, let me explain. I never meant to hurt you." I deleted them all and got dressed, choosing the white sundress I'd bought specifically for today. The irony of wearing white wasn't lost on me. "You don't have to go through with this," Skylar said, watching me apply mascara with steady hands. "Oh, but I do." I checked my reflection. They think they're in control of this narrative. They're not. The venue, a upscale restaurant's private room, was already bustling when we arrived. Mom rushed over, enveloping me in a hug that felt like a betrayal. "Had she known?" "Alice called," she whispered. "She said, 'Not today, Mom.'" I cut her off, plastering on a smile as guests began to arrive. The room filled quickly with friends, relatives, and co-workers, all bearing gifts and congratulations. Alice arrived last, wearing a face full of guilt and a dress that cost more than my first car. "Krista," she started, approaching me with outstretched arms. I turned to the closest guest. "Susan, that cake you brought looks amazing." The shower proceeded according to plan. Games, food, champagne. I played my part perfectly, gushing over gifts and laughing at wedding jokes. Only Skylar knew I was dying inside. Then came the speeches. As the sister of the bride, Alice stood, champagne glass trembling. "I want to say, actually," I interrupted, standing up. "I have something to say first." The room fell silent. Alice sank back into her chair. "I've been thinking about love lately," I began. "About trust and family and loyalty. About how the people closest to us can surprise us in the most unexpected ways." Alice's face went pale. Mom shifted uncomfortably in her seat. "For instance," I continued, "did you know that my fiancé and my sister have been sleeping together for the past 4 months?" The gasps were audible. Someone dropped a glass. "Krista, please," Alice whispered. I pulled out my phone and projected screenshots onto the wall. Emails, texts, hotel receipts. "They've been meeting at the Riverside Hotel, the same place Connor proposed to me." "That's enough." Mom stood up, reaching for my arm. I jerked away. "No, it's not enough. Did you know? Did everyone know except me?" The silence was damning. "Sweetheart," Mom tried again. "We didn't want to hurt you." "Well, congratulations. You all failed spectacularly at that." I grabbed my purse and headed for the door, pausing beside Alice. "The dress looks cheap, by the way, but I guess that's fitting." The cool air outside hit my face like a slap. I walked blindly, ending up at a small cafe 3 blocks away. The barista took one look at my tear-streaked face and brought me a coffee without asking. "Rough day." I looked up to find a man watching me with concerned eyes. It took a moment to place him. Josh, the guy who'd helped me pick up scattered wedding invitations when I'd dropped them outside the printers last week. "You could say that," I managed. He sat down across from me. "Want to talk about it?" "Not really." I wiped my eyes. "Unless you want to hear about how my fiancé and sister are having an affair, and my entire family knew, but didn't tell me." Wow. He pushed a napkin toward me. "I'm sorry." "Don't be. I just blew up my own bridal shower exposing them, so at least there's that." He laughed, surprising me into laughing too. "Good for you, seriously." My phone buzzed continuously. Mom, Alice, Connor, various guests. I turned it off. "I should probably deal with all that," I sighed. "Or," Josh said, "you could have another coffee and tell me more about how you exposed them." I love a good revenge story. For the first time in days, I felt something other than pain or anger. "You don't have somewhere else to be?" "Nowhere more interesting than here," he signaled the barista. "Besides, I have a feeling you're just getting started with the revenge part." I studied him. His kind eyes. The way he seemed genuinely interested, rather than just morbidly curious. "You might be right about that." "So," he leaned forward, "what's the next step in your master plan?" I thought about the wedding. still scheduled for 6 weeks away, about all the non-refundable deposits and arrangements, about how Connor and Alice probably expected me to quietly cancel everything and disappear. The next step, I said slowly, is making sure they never forget what they did. And I think I know exactly how to do it. Josh raised his coffee cup. To karma? I clinked my cup against his. To karma and to unexpected allies. You're still going through with the wedding. Skylar's voice crackled through my phone speaker. Are you insane? I glanced at Josh across the cafe table. We'd been meeting here daily for the past week. Not exactly. I'm keeping all the arrangements, but I'm changing the script. What does that mean? It means, I lowered my voice, that karma needs an audience. Josh slid a notepad across the table, filled with ideas we'd brainstormed. After that first day at the cafe, he'd become my unexpected confidant and co-conspirator. I'll call you back, I told Skylar as my mother's car pulled into the cafe parking lot. You don't have to do this, Josh said, squeezing my hand before standing to leave. I can stay. I shook my head. This is a conversation I need to have alone. Mom looked exhausted as she sat down, the past week clearly taking its toll. Krista, please, just talk to your sister. Like she talked to me while sleeping with my fiancé. She's devastated. She's barely eating. Good. The word came out sharp enough to make Mom flinch. Did you know? Before the shower, her silence was answer enough. How long? I suspected something a month ago, she admitted. I saw them together at the mall when Connor was supposed to be at work. And you didn't tell me. I told them to end it. They promised they would. She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. I thought I was protecting you. Protecting me. I laughed bitterly. You were protecting them. You were protecting yourself from having to deal with this mess. That's not fair. Neither is watching your daughter plan a wedding to a man you know is sleeping with your other daughter. The barista brought over 2 coffees, pretending not to notice the tension. Your father wants to talk to you, Mom said, after a long silence. He's furious with all of us. At least someone is. I stirred my coffee. The wedding's still on. Mom's head snapped up. What? You heard me. Everything proceeds as planned. The venue, the caterers, the flowers, all of it. But how? Why? Because I've already paid for most of it, I said, the lie flowing smoothly. And because I deserve my perfect day. Honey, you can't. I can, and I will. I stood up. Make sure Alice knows she's still expected to be there, as my maid of honor. Mom's face paled. Krista, please don't do anything. Anything what, Mom? Anything cruel? Anything vindictive? Anything like sleeping with my sister's fiancé? I left her sitting there, hands wrapped around her cooling coffee. Outside, Josh was waiting in his car. How'd it go? He asked as I slid into the passenger seat. Exactly as expected. She'll tell Alice. Alice will tell Connor. And they'll all spend the next few weeks wondering what I'm planning. Are you sure about this next part? I nodded, pulling out my phone to text Skylar. Time for phase 2. Bring the dress. An hour later, we were at Skylar's apartment. My wedding dress hung like a ghost in her spare room. It's not too late to just cancel everything, Skylar said, watching me run my hands over the white lace. Actually, it is. I turned to face them both. They took everything from me. My relationship, my trust, my family. The least they can do is show up to watch me take it all back. And you're sure about Josh's part in this? Skylar asked, eyeing him skeptically. Josh stepped forward. I know it seems crazy, but it seems insane, Skylar corrected. Maybe, I agreed. But sometimes insane is exactly what you need. My phone buzzed, a text from Alice. Please don't do this. We can talk about it. Fix things. I showed it to Josh and Skylar. See? They're already scared. They should be, Josh said, pulling out his own phone. I got the marriage license application ready. We just need to fill it out. Skylar's eyes widened. You're really going to… Yes, I cut her off. In exactly 1 month, I'm going to walk down that aisle. But instead of marrying the man who betrayed me, I'm going to marry the man who helped me get my revenge. Josh grinned. and I couldn't be more honored. This is either the most brilliant or the most terrible plan I've ever heard, Skylar said. Why not both? I picked up my phone and typed a reply to Alice. Don't worry, sis. Everything's going exactly according to plan. I hit send and smiled, imagining her panic as she read those words. Now let's talk about seating arrangements. I want them to have the perfect view of everything. The florist needs final confirmation on the arrangements, Alice said, her voice small as she stood in my doorway. 2 weeks before the wedding, and she was still playing her role as maid of honor. Everything stays exactly as planned, I replied, not looking up from my laptop. White roses, red accent flowers. Krista, please, this silent treatment. Would you prefer I scream? I finally met her eyes, because I can do that instead. She stepped into my home office, wringing her hands. I just don't understand why you're going through with this. The wedding, the plans. It doesn't make sense. A lot of things don't make sense, Alice. Like my sister sleeping with my fiancé. Josh appeared in the doorway, coffee cups in hand. Alice's eyes widened. She hadn't met him yet. Perfect timing, I said, taking a cup from him. Alice, meet Josh, my wedding planner. The lie rolled off my tongue smoothly. We'd decided it was the simplest explanation for his constant presence. Oh. Alice shifted uncomfortably. I didn't know you'd hired. There's a lot you don't know. I turned back to my laptop. The florist can reach me directly from now on. After she left, Josh sat beside me. Your sister looks terrible. Good. Connor called again this morning. I pulled up his voicemail on speaker. Krista, this is insane. We need to talk about this wedding. Please call me back. They're getting desperate, Josh noted. They should be. Dad called yesterday. Apparently Connor's firm found out about the affair. He's being transferred to their Seattle office. And Alice lost 2 clients at her gallery. Turns out people don't like art dealers who sleep with their sister's fiancés. Josh squeezed my hand. Are you okay? Better than okay. I showed him my phone screen, a confirmation email from the videographer. Everything's set for the big reveal. Later that evening, during the final dress fitting, Skylar watched me twirl in front of the mirror. You look happy, she said, sounding surprised. I am. I smoothed the fabric. For the first time since this nightmare started, I feel in control. And Josh, are you sure about this part of the plan? Before I could answer, Mom walked in. She stopped short at the sight of me in the dress. Oh, honey, she whispered, tears forming. Don't. I held up a hand. You lost the right to cry mother of the bride tears. The rehearsal dinner venue called, she said instead. They need the final head count. Everyone's coming, I said firmly. Make sure of it. That night, I met Josh at our cafe. The same barista who'd witnessed my breakdown now smiled knowingly at us. Marriage license is official, Josh said, sliding the document across the table. No going back now. Having second thoughts? He laughed. About helping the most interesting woman I've ever met get epic revenge on her cheating fiancé. Never. My phone buzzed. Another text from Connor. This is cruel, even for you. They think I'm being cruel now. I showed Josh the message. Just wait. Your mom called me today, he said. Tried to talk me out of helping you. What did you say? That some stories deserve a better ending than, and she canceled the wedding. I reached across the table and squeezed his hand. Thank you for everything. Don't thank me yet. We still have to pull this off. Back home, I found Alice sitting on my front steps. Move in with him, she blurted out. After the transfer, go to Seattle with Connor. Just, please don't do whatever you're planning. I laughed, a genuine full-bodied laugh. You think I want him, after everything? Then why? Why go through with this? I leaned down, meeting her eyes. Because you both need to learn that actions have consequences. Now get off my steps. I have a wedding to finish planning. Inside, I called Skylar. It's working. They're all terrified. Good, she said. The video montage is ready. It's brutal. Perfect. I pulled up the seating chart on my laptop. front row seats to their own humiliation. Your dad asked if you're sure about this. I've never been more sure of anything. I studied the chart where Connor and Alice's names sat prominently displayed in the front row. 2 weeks from now, they'll wish they'd never betrayed me. And Josh? I touched the marriage license on my desk. He's ready, everything's falling into place. After hanging up, I sent one final text to both Connor and Alice. Can't wait to see you both at the rehearsal dinner. Dress your best, there will be lots of pictures. Their simultaneous responses came quickly. Krista, please, we need to talk. I turned off my phone, smiling. Let them worry, let them panic. The countdown to their karma had begun. The church bells chimed as I stood in the bridal suite, watching guests file in through the window. Connor paced outside, checking his phone constantly. Alice sat in the front row, wearing the mint green bridesmaid dress I'd chosen months ago, looking like she might throw up. Ready? Skylar asked, adjusting my veil. Born ready. I turned to the mirror, smoothing my dress. Is Josh in position? Back entrance, waiting for the signal. She handed me my bouquet. Last chance to back out. A knock at the door interrupted my response. Dad entered, looking dapper in his tuxedo, but wearing a concerned frown. Sweetheart, he started. I know you're hurt, but, Dad, I cut him off. Are you going to walk me down the aisle, or not? He studied my face for a long moment. You're really going through with this? Yes. The only question is whether you're with me or against me. He offered his arm. I'm always with you. The wedding coordinator appeared, clipboard in hand. Everyone's seated. We're ready when you are. I checked my phone one last time. A message from Josh. Ready and waiting. Give them hell. The wedding march began. I watched as Alice walked down the aisle ahead of me, followed by Skylar. Then all eyes turned to the back of the church as the bridal march started. Dad squeezed my arm as we began our walk. Connor stood at the altar, looking simultaneously relieved and terrified. Perfect. Halfway down the aisle, I gave Skylar the signal. She pressed something on her phone, and suddenly, the church's projection screens flickered to life. Gasps filled the room as images appeared, screenshots of texts between Connor and Alice, dating back months, hotel receipts, security camera footage from the Riverside Hotel lobby showing them together. What is this? Connor stepped forward, his face ashen. I kept walking, but instead of stopping at the altar, I continued past him. Krista, his voice cracked. What are you doing? The side door opened, and Josh entered, wearing a tuxedo and a smile that could light up the room. I'm marrying someone else, I announced, my voice carrying through the stunned silence. Someone who understands loyalty, honesty, and respect. More gasps. Alice stood up, swaying slightly. This isn't... You can't... Actually, I can. I reached Josh, taking his hand. The marriage license is already filed. All we need is the ceremony. You planned this? Connor's voice rose. All of it? The wedding, the guests. Consider it my gift to you both, I said sweetly. A front row seat to karma. The minister, who'd been briefed in advance, cleared his throat. Shall we begin? This is insane. Alice stepped forward. Mom, Dad, do something. Dad moved to stand beside me. I think they've done enough. Proceed, minister. The ceremony was short and perfect. Josh's vows made me cry real tears. We might have started this as a revenge plot, but somewhere along the way, it had become something more. You may kiss the bride, the minister announced. As Josh kissed me, I heard Connor storm out, followed by the click of Alice's heels running after him. The crowd erupted in a mixture of applause, shocked whispers, and even some laughter. At the reception, Mom approached our table, looking shell-shocked. I don't know whether to be proud or horrified. How about both? I suggested, raising my champagne glass. Your sister is learning that actions have consequences. I stood up. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'd like to dance with my husband. Josh led me to the dance floor as our first song played, Sweet Revenge by John Prine. Naturally. Was it everything you hoped for? He asked, spinning me around. Better. I glanced at the door where Connor and Alice had fled. Though I almost feel bad for them. Almost. Don't. They earned this. Skylar appeared with her phone. You're trending locally on Twitter. Someone filmed the whole thing. I laughed. Good. Let everyone know what happens when you betray the wrong person. And what happens next? Josh asked softly. I looked up at him. This wonderful man who'd turned my revenge plot into a love story. Next, we go on our honeymoon. A real one. Bali? He suggested, grinning. Bali. I agreed. Far away from all this drama. As we danced, guests came up to alternately congratulate us and express their shock. But all I could focus on was Josh's arms around me and the feeling of finally being free from the weight of betrayal. Ready to get out of here, he whispered as the song ended. I nodded, catching sight of my new ring sparkling under the reception lights. Ready for everything. The morning after the wedding, I woke up to hundreds of notifications. The video had gone viral, spreading across social media like wildfire. Wedding revenge was trending. Your revenge is now internet famous, Josh said, showing me his phone over breakfast in our hotel suite. The comments are wild. Any regrets? I asked, scrolling through messages from strangers calling me everything from a hero to a monster. He kissed my forehead. Only that we have to deal with the aftermath before Bali. The aftermath arrived sooner than expected. A knock at our door revealed Skylar, looking frazzled. Your sister's downstairs in the lobby, she announced. She's causing a scene. Of course she is. I slipped on my shoes. Time to face the music. Alice stood in the middle of the lobby. Mascara streaked down her face. How could you? Funny, I asked myself the same thing about you and Connor. You humiliated us. She stepped closer. Everyone's seen the video. His company, my clients. Actions meet consequences. I kept my voice steady. How's Connor handling his newfound fame? He's devastated. The Seattle transfer fell through because of this. Tragic. This isn't funny, Krista. You've ruined our lives. No, Josh stepped forward. You ruined your own lives when you decided to betray your sister. Alice turned on him. And you? What kind of person agrees to marry someone they barely know for revenge? The kind who recognizes a remarkable woman when he meets one, Josh replied calmly. Hotel guests were staring now, phones discreetly recording. Alice noticed and lowered her voice. Mom's a mess. Dad won't speak to me. Is that what you wanted? What I wanted was a faithful fiancé and a loyal sister. I crossed my arms. We don't always get what we want. Please, she whispered. Tell me how to fix this. You can't fix it, Alice. You can only live with it, just like I had to live with what you did. The hotel manager approached, eyeing Alice warily. Is everything all right here? My sister was just leaving, I said firmly. As security escorted her out, my phone buzzed, Connor calling. I answered on speaker. Satisfied? His voice was rough. You've destroyed everything. Funny how karma works, isn't it? I loved you. No, I corrected him. You loved yourself more than you respected me. There's a difference. Josh took my hand as I hung up. Skylar wiped away tears I hadn't realized were falling. Let's get out of here, Josh suggested. Our flight to Bali leaves in 4 hours. Back in our room, packing the last of our things, another knock came. This time, it was Dad. Just wanted to say goodbye before you left, he said, then pulled me into a tight hug. I'm proud of you, kiddo. For humiliating my sister and ex-fiancé. For refusing to be their victim. He shook Josh's hand. Take care of her. Always, Josh promised. In the taxi to the airport, Skylar sent updates from social media. The video had reached millions of views. Wedding revenge had spawned dozens of memes. You're going to be dealing with this for a while, she warned. Good, I replied. Let it be a warning to others who think about betraying someone's trust. At the airport, Josh surprised me with first-class tickets. A proper start to our unconventional marriage. About that, I turned to face him. What happens when we get back? When the revenge high wears off? He took my hands in his. Then we date properly, like a normal couple. We get to know each other without the pressure of revenge plotting. And maybe, just maybe, we'll find out this crazy plan gave us both exactly what we needed. And if it doesn't work out, then we'll handle it like adults. No betrayal, no revenge required. As we boarded the plane, my phone buzzed one last time. A message from Mom. I hope you find peace in Bali. And I hope someday you can forgive us all. I showed it to Josh. Think I should respond? That's up to you. But maybe wait until after our honeymoon. You've earned a break from family drama. As the plane took off, I looked out at the city growing smaller below us. Somewhere down there, Connor and Alice were dealing with the consequences of their choices. My viral revenge would follow them for years, a digital reminder of their betrayal. But up here, holding Josh's hand, I felt something unexpected. Peace. The kind that comes not from forgiveness, but from taking back your power. Ready for our next adventure? Josh asked. I smiled, thinking how this man had turned my revenge plot into the beginning of something real. More than ready. The Bali sun set over the ocean as Josh and I walked along the beach on our last evening there. 2 weeks of paradise had given us space to process everything and to really get to know each other. Skylar sent another update, I said, checking my phone. Connor moved back in with his parents. Alice quit the gallery. Still following the aftermath? Less each day. I pocketed my phone. It matters less now. Because revenge is complete. Because I'm happy. I stopped walking, turning to face him. Actually happy, not just satisfied with revenge. My phone rang. Dad calling. I answered on speaker. Your sister's here, he said without preamble. She wants to know if you'll meet with her when you get back. Josh squeezed my hand as I considered. What do you think I should do? I think, Dad said carefully, that you've made your point, powerfully. Now you get to decide what kind of relationship you want with your family going forward. After hanging up, Josh and I sat in the sand, watching the waves. You know, he said, when you first told me your revenge plan in that cafe, I thought you were crazy. And now I think you're brilliant, terrifying, but brilliant. He grinned. Remind me never to cross you. You won't. I leaned against him. That's the difference. I trust you. Even though we got married as part of a revenge plot. Especially because of that. You could have backed out at any time. Could have exposed my plan. Instead, you helped me reclaim my power. My phone buzzed again. A text from Alice. I understand if you never want to speak to me again. But I'm in therapy now, working on myself. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. Are you going to respond? Josh asked, reading over my shoulder. Not yet. I turned off my phone. First, I want to enjoy my last sunset in Bali with my husband. And then we go home and figure out what normal looks like for us. The next morning, as we packed, Josh found the USB drive containing the wedding video. What should we do with this? I took it, turning it over in my hands. Upload it one more time, then we move on. You sure? The best revenge isn't just about making them pay, I said. It's about making sure you grow stronger from it. At the airport, waiting for our flight home, I finally replied to Alice. I'm not ready to talk, but maybe someday. Progress, Josh noted. Baby steps. My phone lit up with a notification. The final upload of the wedding video had hit 1 million views. Below it was a comment from Connor. I deserve this. I'm sorry. Look, I showed Josh. First time he's actually admitted fault. Sometimes people need a dramatic wake-up call. Speaking of wake-up calls, I turned to face him fully. Are you ready for real life? Being married to someone you met through a revenge plot isn't exactly normal. He laughed. Normal is overrated. Besides, I got to marry the most interesting woman I've ever met. How many people can say their love story started with exposing cheaters at their own wedding? So you don't regret it? Do you? I thought about everything. The pain of betrayal, the satisfaction of revenge, the unexpected joy of finding love in the midst of chaos. No, I said finally. I don't regret any of it. Then neither do I. He kissed me as our flight was called. Ready to start our real story? As we boarded the plane, I received one last text from Mom. Whatever you decide about Alice, know that we love you, and we're sorry we didn't protect you better. I showed it to Josh. Think we can build something good from all this mess? I think, he said, taking my hand, that we already have. The plane took off, leaving behind the island where we'd hidden from the aftermath of our dramatic revenge. But we weren't running anymore. We were moving forward, toward whatever came next. You know what the best part of revenge is? I asked Josh as we settled into our seats. What's that? Sometimes it leads you exactly where you're supposed to be. He smiled, squeezing my hand. Even if that place is totally unexpected. Especially then. I rested my head on his shoulder, feeling truly at peace for the first time since discovering Connor's betrayal. Sometimes the best endings aren't the ones we planned. And sometimes, Josh added, they're even better.